Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm going over my Week 8 NFL power rankings for the 2021 NFL season. It's crazy that it's already Week 8. It seems like the season's flying by. I've had a really busy week, so I'm going to try and start getting more videos out. I have some videos lined up for this week, so I will try and be more consistent with videos. I apologize for the inconsistency the past few weeks, but I've had insane busyness with school, so I just wanted to get that out there. Also, if you're new to the channel and you like the video, make sure to subscribe. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers. There's going to be new content coming out this week, so make sure to do that. Let's get right into it. First off, we have the dumpster fire as always. The Jets have made their way to the bottom of the dumpster fire this week after a 54-13 loss to the Patriots. The Jets usually if you beat one of the best teams in the league, like the Tennessee Titans, you stay a little bit above the bottom for a bit, but that game was clearly a fluke. The Jets have not played well in any other game the entire year, except for kind of Week 1 against the Panthers, but not really. At 31, we have the Houston Texans. The Texans have only beaten the Jaguars, and that game was in Trevor Lawrence's first game of his NFL career. And then, ever since they put Davis Mills in, the Texans have been getting worse and worse and worse. Took a lot for me to bump Houston out of number 32 for this week. At number 30, we have the Lions. The Lions are the only team without a win in the league currently, but I have them above the Texans and the Jets because they've played some really good teams really tough. They haven't had any absolutely horrendously bad games. They're just overall a slight upgrade from the Texans and the Jets. And then at 29, we have Miami. Miami's only win was Week 1 against the Patriots. They won by 1 point. And since then, they haven't really had any impressive games. And this week wasn't really an exception. They lost to the Falcons, and which is not really an easy thing to do. The Falcons aren't a very good team. So, Dolphins have been getting worse and worse progressively throughout the season. The next category is not their year. We have the Jaguars, we have the Panthers, and we have the Giants. The Jaguars have one win on the season, their only win being to the Miami Dolphins at 29. Other than that, they had a 20-game losing streak, so I figured putting them one spot above the Dolphins was pretty fair. At 27, we have the Panthers. The Panthers lost 25-3 to the Giants this week. They started off 3-0, and now they are 3-4. They are one of the worst trending teams in the entire league currently, and I think that 27 is a pretty fair spot for them after getting pummeled by the Giants, who only had one win previously. And that was to the Jets or somebody bad. I don't remember who, but it wasn't to someone. It wasn't it was the Saints. Yeah, so both the Giants and the Panthers have beaten the Saints, yet they haven't won any other games. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird, man. At number 25, we have the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos also started off 3-0 and are now 3-4, much like the Panthers. The Broncos played a really tough game this week against the Browns, even though the Browns had Case Keenum as their quarterback because Baker Mayfield is injured. Case Keenum used to play for the Broncos. He was 6-10 with them, and then he beat them this week. The Browns still have a good team without Case Keenum, but they were also missing their first starting two running backs, and the Broncos still lost that game. And the Browns didn't have their starting quarterback or either their starting running backs. So yeah, that's a little embarrassing. The only teams that they've beaten are the Jets, the Giants, and the Jaguars. So those are the only teams that they should really be above currently are the Jets, the Giants, and the Jaguars. 24, we have the Falcons, and the Falcons are much like the Broncos this season, where all of their wins have come from garbage, including the Giants. I don't know exactly how they beat the Dolphins this week. I think they beat the Jets. Their wins are coming from the bottom of the barrel as well. So this is the category of teams that have beaten the teams at the bottom of the barrel. The Eagles have beaten the Falcons and they've beaten the Panthers. And Washington has beaten the Giants and the Falcons and someone else. So all the teams 22 and below is basically like, who have you beaten? That's also 22 and below. And then we're going to like put you like just above them. And it worked pretty well for making like a step ladder. So yeah, generally speaking, the Eagles haven't really lost to any of these teams. The Eagles have lost to a bunch of good teams, and they beat some of these ones. Everyone else has lost to someone in this area. The Eagles are also like looking like the most promising team. Jalen Hurts has had a pretty solid season, even if their defense has been playing horrendously bad. At number 21, we have the Chicago Bears. The Bears are having a really weird season. These three teams are all having really weird seasons. That's all I can really say. The Bears have offensive issues like usual. Their defense is playing pretty solid most games, as per usual. That's usually what the Bears do. They have a pretty trash offense and a pretty decent defense. And then they got absolutely demolished this week by the Buccaneers. But they also beat the Bengals out of nowhere. And the Bengals are one of the better teams in the league. So, a really weird team. The Bears are confusing. Overall, I think they're not a good team, and they've just had luck in a couple of good games. 49ers, I have at 20. After their loss to the Colts tonight, they dropped a couple of spots. They've lost 3 in a row, I believe now, including a loss to the Seahawks. And a loss to the Packers. A very close loss to the Packers, mind you. They have played some good teams fairly tough, but their only wins have come to the Lions and the Eagles. And those were both, like, close games. Like, scary close. Like, it was a one-score game for both the Lions game and the Eagles game. And then they lost this week to the Colts. The Colts, on the other hand, every time that they've had one of the hardest schedules in the entire league. They've been within one score of all of their tough opponents, and they've beaten all of the opponents that people expected them to beat. At 19, we have the Steelers. And, yeah, again, the Steelers have had a weird season. Ben Roethlisberger's had some good games and some bad games. Najee Harris has been improving. Their defense has had some good games and some bad games. The reason why I have the Steelers lower than the Colts and the Patriots is because the Steelers really haven't shown up in their tougher games. They beat Buffalo week 1, but it was week 1. Week 1 is highly irrelevant now. Every team week 1 just kind of like, you're getting used to playing football again. Week 1 really doesn't say a whole lot, hence the Packers lost 38-3. But since week 1, the Steelers really haven't put up much of a fight against any good teams. They got pretty cleanly clapped by the Packers. They got pretty cleanly clapped by the Bengals. Like, anytime they've played a good team, they've gotten fairly thoroughly stomped. They beat Seattle last week in overtime, but they barely beat Geno Smith in overtime. So, right now I have the Steelers at 19. I need to see them play and beat a good team now, not 6 weeks ago, before they can start moving up higher. These teams... Oh, I had... This was the name of the category before the Colts joined. The Colts have still lost 4 games. How have all of these teams lost 4 games? That's my question. How have all 4 of these teams lost 4 games already? The Chiefs, the Patriots, and the Colts are 3-4, and Seattle is 2-4. And I have no idea how. The Colts have a very strong team. They showed it this week. I still think the 49ers have a solid team. They just are really lost and confused. But, anyways, the Colts have a really solid team. They've had an insanely difficult schedule, and they've done really well with it. As for the Seahawks, like, obviously, they have 4 losses because Russell Wilson got injured, and Geno Smith is now the quarterback. I think that Russell Wilson could have potentially won the Rams game, and he definitely would have beaten the Steelers last week. So, because the Seahawks just acquired Cam Newton, that's why the Seahawks are at 16. I think that if Cam Newton is the starter, the Seahawks will win more games than if Geno Smith is the starter. So I have the Seahawks at the spot where Cam Newton would be on this Seahawks team, I believe. At 15, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are just playing really weird football. Like, just weird. Like, they'll put up 42 points against the Eagles, and then they'll put up 3 against the Titans defense, one of the worst defenses in the entire league. It's just a really weird season for them. Patrick Mahomes has 9 interceptions. 15, some people might say 15 is generous. Some people might say 15 is way too low. I think that 15 is a pretty solid spot for them right now before they can start beating, like, good teams. Because the only good team they've beaten was week 1 against Cleveland. And that was a comeback victory week 1. It wasn't even like they were winning the whole game. It was a comeback victory week 1. And since then, they really haven't played anyone impressive. And at 17, we have the Patriots. Again, I think a lot of people are going to be upset at me for having the Patriots at 17. But I know we really haven't beaten a whole lot of teams. 2 of our 3 wins came from the Jets. But we played Dallas really well. We played the Bucs really well. Both of those games were decided by Belichick not going for it on 4th and 3 when Mac Jones was throwing 75% of his passes complete. I could rant for hours and hours, but I think that our team has been getting stronger and stronger the whole season, and I think we're just going to continue to get better as Mac gets more used to playing in the NFL. So I think the 17 is a pretty fair spot for the Patriots currently. Playoff hopefuls, we have the Vikings, we have the Saints, and we have the Browns. Currently, I believe all 3 of these teams are in the current playoff standings. I believe that these are the 6th and 7th seeds in the current playoff standings. Actually, the Browns might be higher than the 7th seed. I'm not sure, but currently, I think that all 3 of these teams are in the playoff picture. But if I'm incorrect on that, then let me know. The Vikings are 3-3. The Saints are 3-2. And the Browns are 4-3. So I apologize for Saints fans. I'm making this video when you guys have only played 5 games. So it's kind of hard for me to judge where the Saints are as a team since they haven't played in 2 weeks. So I apologize for that. So the Saints could be higher or lower than 13. I just think that it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for the game tomorrow to influence my decision on whether or not the Saints are worse than any of these teams or better than any of these ones. So I think that the Saints are in a pretty safe spot right here for whatever happens tomorrow night. As for the Browns have played some really good football this week. They have a lot of injuries on their team, so currently they are lower because of their injuries. I understand that the Browns have a better team than number 12, but because of their injuries, they're number 12. That's the pure reason why. Like all the teams above them, I really wanted to be where they were. And so because of the Browns' injuries, they ended up getting bumped down a little bit. Once they get healthy and once they get better, the Browns will move back up the rankings. And at 14 with the Vikings. The Vikings have played some really tough teams. They've played really good games against tough teams. They've played really good games against easy teams. They've just been an overall solid team this year. At number 11, we have the Chargers. At number 10, we have the Raiders. And number 9, we have the Ravens. The Chargers and Raiders have had really up and down seasons. Most recently, the Chargers got demolished by the Ravens. And then this week, the Ravens got demolished by the Bengals. So all of these teams this year have had a history of winning really close, really strong, solid games, and then getting demolished by other good teams randomly, and then demolishing other good teams. Like, they get so confused. Like, it's so that's why this is the Moody Teenagers category this week. All 3 of these teams will win a massive game. They'll destroy someone really good, and then they'll get destroyed by someone good or like someone mediocre. And it's really weird, and I really have no clue. Like, where these teams are right now. The Raiders were 3-0, then they lost 2 in a row, and then they came back and won 2 in a row against the Broncos, and then this week. So yeah, the Raiders are coming back, and the Ravens and the Chargers have taken a dip in the last couple of weeks. Next, we have the AFC's elite and the Green Bay Packers. The 3 best teams in the AFC currently are the Titans, the Bills, and the Bengals. I don't think any of these 3 teams are as good as the top 4 teams in the NFC, though. The Titans have played some really good football the last 2 weeks. They demolished Kansas City, and they beat Buffalo last week. So they're playing really strong football. They also lost to the Jets, though. So because they lost to the Jets, I really can't put them in the top 4 right now. Buffalo, I can't put in the top 4 currently either, because they haven't really beaten anyone good. Yeah. Like, they have all the stats in the world. They have, like, all of the number 1 offense, number 1 defense. They haven't beaten anyone good. They've played 2 teams with a record of 500 or better. That's the Steelers and the Titans, and they lost both of those games. At number 7, we have the Bengals, and at number 8, we have the Packers. The Packers got demolished week 1. They've been steadily increasing. They've just I think the Packers have literally sat, like, between ranking 6 and 8, like, the entirety of the season. Like, they've just been uneventful. They haven't won any big games. They haven't lost any big games. They've just kind of been chilling. And then I have the Bengals above the Packers. A lot of people are going to say, oh, the Packers beat the Bengals. No, they didn't. They won on a coin flip. There was 5 missed field goals, and the Packers happened to get the first one that actually went in. So I don't count that as a win for the Packers. I count that as a tie, effectively. And then the Packers just got awarded the victory. The Bengals played a phenomenal game this week against the Ravens, and I think that a 41-17 beatdown of the Ravens more than makes up for their coin flip of a game against Green Bay. And both of them have lost one weird game. The Bengals lost to the Bears, the Packers lost to the Saints. But overall, these 2 teams have been pretty even. But the Bengals are coming off of a very strong win against a very good team, so they get the spot right above them for this week. And then last but certainly not least, we have the NFC's elite. Not the NFL's elite, the NFC's elite. Because the NFC 4 best are better than the AFC's 4 best. We have the Cardinals, the Rams, the Bucks, and the Cowboys. The Cardinals are 6-0. All of these teams are 5-1. And the order here is basically the Cardinals beat the Rams beat the Bucks, and the Bucks beat the Cowboys. All of these teams are playing phenomenal football. None of them have really had any bad losses. The Bucks lost by 10 to the Rams, and the Rams lost by 17 to the Cardinals. So, not really bad losses. They've only lost to each other. They've all played phenomenal football. They've all played really great. The Cowboys and the Bucks both played really weird games against the Patriots, but they ended up on top. And then the Rams and the Cardinals have played pretty solid in all of their games. The Cardinals have destroyed some really good teams as well, and they're coming off of a 31-5 win over the Texans. So Arizona's the clear number 1 team in the league right now. Rams, Cowboys, and Bucks are all kind of clawing and scratching to get to that number 2 spot. But they've all been playing fairly even football. I would argue the Bucks are stronger than the Rams, but the Rams beat them head-to-head, so I got to give them respect there. So yeah, those are my NFL Power Rankings for Week 8. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I will be trying to get out more consistent content this week, so watch out for that. And let's get to 1,000 subscribers. If you enjoy my content and you know other people who would want to watch football content like this, make sure to let them know. We're trying to reach 1,000 by the end of November. So if you can do that, that would be fantastic. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.